want to get to as many calls as possible tonight. I'm hoping that we'll hear from people across the country. And we heard from Kelly in Portland, Oregon. Hi, Kelly. What do you want other Americans to understand that it feels right now that they just don't?
Well, we've been talking here about how we're in a blue bubble. You know, that liberal smugness. I like to
They're
call
not.
Portland.
They're smug and not self-aware about it, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I say Portland's a liberal town that hasn't really been tested. There's just not that much diversity here.
New tonight, a grieving mother searching for answers after a brutal attack on her son.
On August 10, 2016, just before midnight, Larnell Bruce Jr. was murdered in Gresham, Oregon, a low-income suburb, the next highway exit east of Portland. His killer, Russell Courtier, a known member of a white supremacist gang, and his girlfriend Colleen Hunt pulled up to the 7-Eleven on 188th and Burnside, where Larnell was charging his phone outside. A fight immediately erupted as the men crossed paths, and Courtier threw Bruce against the store window, shattering the pane. But witnesses say the 6'2", 19-year-old was winning the fight.
Then the white guy was about to pick up one of those tire irons.
And Larnell pulled out a large knife. The clerk yelled the police were on their way, and Courtier got back into the Jeep with Colleen. Larnell is seen on camera walking away, but the couple pursued him.
Courtier's girlfriend admitted to police. She yelled, "Get him, baby! Get him, baby!"
Witnesses on the scene shouted, "Run, they're trying to kill you." The teen sprinted in the direction of his mother's apartment. Can you tell me what happened to your son?
My son was murdered. He was murdered by a racist. I feel like a part of my heart is just ripped. It's so horrible. It's horrendous.
New from the night team, disturbing new court documents, a history of violence, and possible connections to a racist prison gang. Tonight, new questions about the man accused of intentionally running over a teenager in Gresham.
With Larnell Bruce Jr., do you know who he is?
I don't know him, sorry.
Oh, he was run over by a white supremacist on 188th
I do
and
remember.
Burnside?
I'm sorry, yes, I do remember that situation.
Right. So,
Who could possibly... Horrible. I mean...
If Portland don't care about it, then the rest of the world don't see Portland caring about it, then they don't care. BET put it out there, Huffington Post, Metro, Daily Mail, Sean King put it out there, everybody put it out there, and it still didn't take off because it was a black kid in Portland.
When I first heard that he was run over, I first thought about a young man by the last name Deadman. 1970, right over here on Russell Street and Union Avenue, now MLK. And some white racists came by, stopped at the corner. He was on the telephone, and they put a shotgun to the phone box, and they murdered him right there. That's what I thought about. Nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever tells that story. But I know how it affected us. It made us realize once again that just like when we were little kids, we had to have that power of observation that our parents taught us. That you always have to be looking around.
Despite Oregon's reputation as a liberal white bastion, the murder of Larnell Bruce Jr. is a window into a lesser-known history.
A lot of people wonder why Oregon is so white, or they don't wonder about it and should. And you know, Oregon was founded as the white-only state. I mean, the Oregon Land Donation Act that gave land to settlers for the Oregon Trail was for white people only.
When Oregon entered the Union as a free state in 1850, 2 years before the Civil War, blacks and Native Americans were explicitly denied citizenship in its constitution, which was not amended until 1926. All over the state, unofficial sundown laws determined where people of color could be shot if caught after dark. Gresham is rumored to be a former sundown town. CCTV records Russ narrowly missing Larnell, who pivots 180 degrees and runs for his life. Enraged, Russ sped against oncoming traffic to mow the teen down, dragging Larnell's body under the wheels of the Jeep before speeding off. Police arrived and found Larnell motionless in the street, blood gushing from his head and ears. He never spoke another word and languished a few more days in the hospital before he died, days shy of his 20th birthday. Russell Courtier and Colleen Hunt were arrested and charged with murder on August 18, 2016. But Courtier's prison records, published by the Portland Mercury, revealed Russ's association with white supremacist prison gang European Kindred. In total, Courtier has 7 felony and 4 misdemeanor convictions and a lengthy juvenile record. Russ was on parole the night he killed Larnell for stabbing a woman. A year earlier, he bashed a man unconscious with a pool ball, drunk at a bar. Courtier spent 12 days in jail, and the charges were dropped. A month after the murder charges were filed, a Multnomah County grand jury re-indicted Russ and Colleen with a hate crime enhancement. European Kindred members showered Courtier with support on Facebook. "Love you, Russ, keep your head up." Another wrote, "They tested Kindred, and Homeboy did not hesitate." Do you think Russell Courtier and Colleen will be found guilty of murder?
The Ku Klux Klan was and is a terrorist organization. Violent Nazi skinheads are terrorist organizations. When you take 9/11 out of the picture, it's almost all white right-wing extremists. So there's a concern that those guys have a green light and that they're not going to be watched.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
And that they're on board with this larger analysis of the world as a racial battle zone.
On May 26, 2017, Jeremy Christian, a lifelong felon and professed white supremacist, stabbed 3 men on a Portland Max train, killing 2. When they disrupted his attack on 2 teenage girls, one wearing hijab, the other African American.
Free speech or die, Portland. You got no safe place. This is America. Get out if you don't like free speech.
Since August 2016, both Russell Courtier and Colleen Hunt remain incarcerated at Multnomah County and Venice Jail, awaiting trial for the murder of Larnell Bruce Jr., which has been postponed until February 20th, 2018.